feels tough when you walk away 4-0. I don't think that was indicative of the game, but I thought that in the first half we represented ourselves really well, and the version of football that I want the team to move toward. And then what you see in the second half is when the Dutch start to crank up the heat a little bit, then you can see a little bit more of their quality, and we get stressed a little bit more, and so, it forces us into a few mistakes. But, I told them that certainly the first half and overall was better than I had hoped. And we know that we have some big challenges against our first opponents, but we're going to learn from them. There's a lot of little things in there that I think we can make adjustments to be clear and simpler in the way we want to play. But I think it was, for a 4-0 match, it was actually a pretty good performance.
The one thing that Dave was saying, you talked about managing expectations. You made some big decisions coming into your first game. How do you manage the emotions of the team if you have to make more decisions going into the game against France than obviously looking at Argentina?
Yeah, look, after the second day of training, so we've been together for, as a full group, I think 3-4 days. I thought to myself, wow, this is going to be a fun group to work with, and there's real potential here. But I also knew that the reality is, given the opponents coming up, that we would have some tough days. And I knew that I would have to stay strong and positive and continue to reinforce the things that were going to help them improve and grow together. All that being said, I didn't think we would be able to play like we did, specifically in the first half. And so, yeah, we make a few too many mistakes. We get punished for them because the opponent's very good. But we'll learn from it. And the good thing is I think the biggest thing we need to take away from specifically these playing against Holland and now playing against France is what the level of the game is at the highest, right? But to do that, we needed to also create a platform of how we wanted to play and insert it into their games against those opponents. Now we've done that. Now we kind of understand what the standards are, and now we can show examples of tactically how to get better, and then what the speed of play is like, and what the demands are playing against the best.
I just want to add about Alistair. I did see him look like he grabbed his hamstring as he was going off. Any update?
Well, I think you're right. He said he felt some general tightness, but I don't think it's injured. I hope that it's something that won't keep him out too long.
We'll go to the online portion. We'll start with Neil Davidson. Please raise your hand if you have a question in the Teams chat, please.
Hey, Jesse, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you for taking the time. I wanted to ask just about the decision to name Alfonso captain. You talked about it yesterday, or he talked about it yesterday. Is this a permanent move?
No, that's still under consideration. In the first games, he rotated who the captain is a little bit. But that being said, I think Alfonso has been a big factor in terms of the overall energy of what the first week has been like, and his work ethic, his positivity, his motivation and concentration to help the team transform into what we want it to become has been really good. So, I thought I was happy for him. I think he rode in a good way, and I think he represented himself and the team in a good way. So, yeah, it was a good first start for the idea of how we're going to use the captaincy.
And just a follow-up, if I may. In the first half, your team's pressing really seemed to corral the Dutch. That was the aim, and that's what we're going to see more of from your team.
Yeah, and we were. Listen, you could see that we were compact. We weren't just pressing all the way up high. We were trying to control spaces a little bit and make it difficult for them to break us down. And for the most part, in the first half, we accomplished that in a good way. But that's just the first step for us in our process. So even taking Liam out at halftime and putting in Schaffelberg, that was already planned ahead of time. And so we had a bunch of kind of pre-planned ideas for how we wanted to get through this match, because we wanted to look at different players and evaluate them for how they can fit into things moving forward. But in general, I thought that, given, again, The 4-0 for me is not representative of the match, and I feel actually that there were some good performances and collectively pretty organized.
We'll go to Alex from One Soccer.
Awesome. Thanks, John and Jesse. Hope all is well. I guess just, you kind of mentioned strong first half, second half. How would you kind of chalk it up? Do you feel like it was maybe just energy levels, getting used to the system, maybe some defensive miscues? What were kind of some things that you look to go back to the drawing board for Sunday? Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely would not even use the phrase "go back to the drawing board." I would just say, yeah, we need to make improvements in probably all of those areas: in fitness, in behaviors, in tactical clarity. But again, because the Dutch are really good at creating rotations, they have a lot of technical players, they have a lot of athleticism, they have a great combination of what it takes to play the game at the highest level, and so it tests us at the highest level. And we hold up pretty well in the first half and had some really good stretches where I thought our football was good and our understanding of how to play in all phases of the game was quite good. But then, fatigue sets in a little bit more. They start to put their foot on the pedal a little bit more, which creates a little bit more stress in our team, and then we become a little bit more passive. We invite a little bit more pressure. We make a few more mistakes, and then we're ready to capitalize on it. But, again, next time now we're in a situation against a team like this, we'll understand it a little better, and then we'll be able to respond. Even when the game gets tougher, we'll be able to raise our level.
John Molinaro.
Thanks, John. Jesse, a fifth cap for Moisman Vito. I just wondered if you could sort of give your evaluation of his performance in such a big game.
Thought he was very good. Thought that he was tactically good. Thought on the ball he made really good decisions. Won a lot of duels. I know Brian Brobby from my time in Leipzig. I coached him there, and he likes to really post up. And so at halftime, we talked about making an adjustment so that he doesn't allow Brian to lock him in certain moments. And I asked him and Derek both to be very aggressive and be very confident in stepping in at times, in their duels, in all situations, so that tactically they would provide a good foundation for us. And I think they both performed really well. So really excited about the progress in a very short time. So Derek even came late. They've been around for 3 and 4 days. And they both played really well.
Andrew Jones.
Thank you very much, Jesse. Just want to ask you how you felt the midfield combination of Steven Eustaquio and Ismael Kone played tonight.
I thought they were both very good. The challenge we have a little bit is that Stefan hasn't played a lot of 90-minute matches in the last 4 or 5 months. Right, so we have to find a way to keep him fit and strong. And then Ismael had like 3 weeks off before camp, so maintaining his fitness. But given everything, I thought that they both performed well. They tactically understood their roles. I think in the first half specifically, when we had some good moments of starting in our build-up phase and then breaking the opponent down and then finding ways to connect with our attacking players, switching the ball sometimes, I thought that they were both very sharp and very clear. So I think that those two will be a really good combination as we move forward, and we're going to need them to continue to grow and understand the system, because the role that they play tactically in the team is really important in all phases.
We'll do 2 more. We'll go to Sofiane.
Hi, Jesse. Thanks for taking the time. I was wondering, as you implement your vision, that also includes probably major changes for some players and their roles. Have we seen these changes already implemented in this game? Or is it too early? And number 2, is there a setup hierarchy for your goalkeepers? Thank you. Merci.
The goalkeeper, I made the decision in this game because I think that Dane has been performing really well with his club. And so there's no decision really that's made at any level with anything yet, because we've only been together for 6 days or 3 days, if you talk 4 days, if you talk MLS group. So, we're just in our initial phase of establishing everything about how we're going to move forward. And again, the response in every way from every single person involved has been incredibly positive and gives me major optimism. Even losing 4-0, right? I still know that our end vision, our end goal is 2 years from now, and we're just starting our process. And I think, it's almost unfair to have your first match against the Dutch and your second against the French. But so what? We got to grow up as a team. We got to grow up as a football nation, and we've got to figure out ways to get better. And there's no better way to do that than playing against opponents like this.
We'll give the last question to Ben Steiner.
Hi, Jesse. Congrats on your first match. But when you're looking at your center backs between Bombito and Cornelius, what do you see in their partnership moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, they've played matches together before, but we're working in all of the relationships on the pitch. But I thought tactically that they were really sharp. I don't think they got exposed too often. I thought that their connection with the ball and against the ball and defensively was good. So I mentioned to the team afterwards, of all the talk that there's been defensively, of course we give up 4 goals and we want to do better than that, but the 2 center backs performed well. So it gives us real optimism on how to continue to build with those guys. And now, we have some others in camp too that I think we'll be looking at.
Thank you, everyone.